Hey everybody, happy Saturday. Today's March 7th, and I was planning on doing another video yesterday because it was Friday, and that's what I told you I was going to try to do was the first Friday of every month. So let's just pretend like I got this done yesterday and getting it posted for you. So thank you for visiting me last week to let you know that I was going to try to come back. And just thank you for anyone who watched and commented, sent me a message. I'm thinking, I wrote down, I'm trying to keep track of my thoughts. So I'm trying. So welcome. And I already told you thank you. I think maybe for those of you who are trying to figure out what's going on at Black Thread Studio and who I am, maybe I should just kind of do an introduction because I've been off YouTube for a while, but I've been on and off for I think about 5 years, and just kind of trying to share my stitching endeavors, and that's why I'm here, because I love seeing what you do. I love sharing and talking about stitching, anything creative really, and it's just a really good outlet for me because I am still working full-time, and it's hard for me to find groups that don't meet when I'm not working. So on that note, I will talk about this more a little bit later, but I randomly in October put a post on Facebook about trying to get a stitching group to meet on the second Saturday of every month. And that has happened, and we've met every month since last October. And it's not always the same people. There's about five or six core people that have come every time. But like last month, I think there was almost 20 people. Cross stitchers, embroidery, full coverage cross stitching, knitting, English paper piecing, and that was my goal, was just to get a whole group of people together that want to come and sit and work with our hands and make things and share it. So I'm expanding that back out onto my YouTube channel. So thank you for being here. Like I said, my name's Kelly. I live in Brookfield, Wisconsin, outside of Milwaukee, not too far from Madison, and you'll hear me talk a lot about Lake Ripley, Cambridge, Wisconsin. That is not my hometown, which is Rockford, Illinois, but pretty much I think me and my whole family consider that that's where we're from, because we've had a cottage, a family cottage there for over 60 years, and that's where we spent all of our summers. So anyway, I have a daughter, Paige, who's, I don't know if she would mind if I told you, I think she's 43. She's going to be 43 this year in June. I have 2 grandkids, and her husband, Chris, they live in Eagle, Idaho. Hadley is 13, and Reed's going to be 7, and they are, as you know, for grandkids, a joy. My only heartache is that they're so far away. And then my son, Sam, passed away about 4.5 years ago. So I like to say that he is flying free, and you know, where he should be with God. So well, I mean, it is the right thing to say, and I do believe that, but of course I wish he was here with me. Okay, we won't go there. Okay, so if you were with me last week, I kind of went through, a lot of this video is going to be inspired by Sarah from PenelopesPocketht, who I talked about. I don't know why that's hard for me to say, but I will tell you, for you guys who haven't been here before, I have an issue with my ear, and I don't rub it as much as I used to, but I have sleep apnea. And if you guys, I don't know, the doctors tell me it's not a real thing, but people with sleep apnea will call it squishy ear. So sometimes I know I don't say my words right. Anyway, so a lot of this, what I'm going to talk about, was inspired from Sarah at PenelopesPocketht, who has a floss tube on YouTube. Yes, she does. So when she started her YouTube last year, she did kind of an organized layout of how it will run. So I did the same thing last week to kind of let you know. So I'm going to run through that and try to keep track of what I'm doing. So I thought I'd always start with like a musing or a story or something, because I just like to chit chat. So if you want to go past this part, go. But pretty much, I do crack myself up because I'm kind of like just kind of a fly by the pants kind of girl and never fully aware or focused on what's going on. So I'm going to talk about smartwatches for a second. This is my musing for today. So I've worn smartwatches, but I've gotten just cheap off of, Amazon. Not even Fitbit. I think I had a Fitbit when they first came out. And anyway, I've gone through several inexpensive ones, and I like them. I am one who started wearing a watch probably when I was in high school, and I feel naked without a watch. So I do wear watches. Anyway, I've never invested or thought that I would need an Apple Watch. Of course, I wanted one, but I thought I don't need it, so therefore I'm going to put it in the back of my mind and never even think that I want one, because I'm not going to spend that much money on a watch, truthfully. So anyway, and as we're on Apple Watches, is this an issue for you guys? I have friends who really get upset with me because of my non-phone habits. I do not have my phone on when I'm at work. I can't, and I totally enjoy not having my phone on when I'm at home. I think I talked about that last week too. So it's always an issue. But like I've told them, those of you who wear an Apple Watch, you see every single thing that comes in, a text or a call or whatever. And I thought, yeah, I don't need that. Anyway, I'm going back on Weight Watchers, and I figured out, and I'm on Medicare, and with my United Healthcare for both of those apps, I can hook up my smartwatch to keep track of, my steps and whatever. Well, the cheap watch I had from Amazon, I couldn't hook up to either one of those. So I called my daughter, Paige, who's her and her husband are totally Apple Mac people. And they always have the newest, brightest, shiniest, technology. And I said, do you think it's worth me? I found a refurbished, which I hate that word, refurbished, but I found a refurbished Apple Watch on Amazon, and I sent her a link to it. And I said, do you think it's worth me getting one that's, kind of been redone? And she texted back right away and said no. And then she said, I actually have my old Apple Watch, let me send it to you. All this to get to say that now I'm wearing an Apple Watch. So in trying to get it hooked up, I've only had it for this last week. I know it's going to drive me nuts, because I really don't want to see every single time somebody's calling me or texting me. All I want to know is what time it is and how many steps I'm doing. Although I'm sure there's other things I'm going to really enjoy having once I get used to it. But this is how, numbnuts I am. I'm getting everything ready and writing down in my book the organization I want to do for you guys today. And I actually wrote to do a welcome and a thank you and say hello again. Do you know that on my watch, something beeped funny, and I looked down and somehow the music came up, and it was Neil Diamond, and it said hello again. That song Hello Again was coming on. I was like, this is what I thought. Why is Neil Diamond calling me? Why is Neil Diamond calling me? Anyway, okay, that's my musing. For a split second, I really thought Neil Diamond might be calling me for some reason. And then, don't you think it's weird that it was hello again when I had just written that down? Okay, that's my musing. And then on my notes, I put reintroduce yourself quickly. So that's as quick as it's going to be. Okay, I do have another musing, and that is going to bring me to the Book of Days, which I know a lot of you guys use. And I'm going to talk about that for a second. You know what? I'm just going to check these off so I know we already did them. Okay, by the way, how are you guys? How are all you guys? I really do hope that you are well, that you're being good, and that you're well. And I do thank you so much if you come to sit and basically, I mean, I am talking about stitching, but it's just shenanigans because honestly, I don't think you think there's so much on YouTube now. And then I think, but we do need more. We need more of the good nut stuff because there's too much out there that's being thrown at us that we don't want to watch. And I would rather sit and watch somebody talk about stitching or their crafting or being creative any day. So that's what we're doing here today. Okay, let's talk about Book of Days. So I better not put my book away though, otherwise I might get off track, right? Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside just for a second and talk about Book of Days. My musings on Book of Days. So I bought my first Book of Days 2021 during the pandemic. I don't know if I should tell you guys this, but I'm just kind of I really kept track more than I thought I did. But when I opened this up, it opened up to August 2021, and it says, "Bring more flowers, Sam Goldsworthy, my son." And then a quote from Claude Monet, "I must have flowers always and always." And for those you know, Bring More Flowers was Sam's gig. And Paige got me a pillow that has that quote on it that I have at work at my desk. And when I looked at that, I was like, oh, it's 2021. Sam passed away October 2021. So I made note of that even before the dreaded part of the last of that year. But look at, I mean, April that year, I mean, I had a lot. I didn't have it stickered up real well, but I had a lot written down. So that surprises me. How fun though to hit. Oh, you know what I have? April 2021. I hit 100 people on YouTube. That is, I remember how exciting that was. Okay, let's go on. Remember, these are musings, so they are kind of long reflections, okay? Then my next book was 2024. I think, you know, just in all the despair of everything that happened over the next few years, 2024 must be the year that I thought, okay, get your act back together, get back into what you love to do. So I bought it. It is completely empty. But I cherish this, and I wish I would have gotten the years in between, even if I didn't use them, just because of what they are. So, you know, they all have quotes in them. They have little charts on the back. So I am so happy that I have those two. And then this year I thought, this is it. I'm kind of not quilting as much, rug hooking a little bit, but I'm really concentrating on my cross stitch this year. That seems to be where my heart is this year. Sorry. Too much chit-chatting needs a little cup of tea. So I got 2026. Now, if you guys don't believe me, please go back and check out my one of my Instagram posts. I wish someone would have been here with me. So I get the Book of Days, and I'm watching all the floss tubes where they're doing the spiral bound, and then please forgive me because I do watch a lot of floss tube, but I don't retain names and stuff if I don't have to, because it hurts my brain to fill it up with too much information. Anyway, Colorado Stitcher. She had where she was selling them out of her shop already bound, and I thought I'd try to get one of those. Anyway, I was just happy that I ended up with the book. Then, to be totally into it, I thought, just really focus this year, Kelly. What do you want to do with your stitching? So I joined the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild out of Texas online. If you guys belong, hello, I'm so happy to be part of that. And I'm mad at myself because I had it written down in my book, Tuesday, Tudor Rose Guild Zoom meeting. Was that Beth Seal that I missed? I missed Beth Seal. Anyway, okay, so I'll deal with myself later on that one. Okay. So I thought, well, I'm just really going to stick her up and try to do what everybody else is doing. And how do I want to use my book? So I did figure out, so some of these are stickers that I got from people. This one, Sweet Sarah that I'm talking about, from Penelope's Pocket, sent me a sweet, sweet note when I ordered her bag with a little scissors charm. I put that in my book. And then let's go back to the real story. Being the stitcher that I am, and at one time I taught in a scrapbook store when they were big, and that's when they were just getting into stitching on paper, you know, and combining paper and fabric. And so anyway, I taught in Eagle, Idaho. And so I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to spend any more money. I just made up some sheets, and I thought, I'm just going to stitch them to the back of my book, and then make it so that they, so that it flips up this way. Hang on. So that it flips up this way. So I did different things and figured out kind of by listening to other people. My to-do list that I wanted to join the Tudor Sampler Guild, which I did. I also had a couple whips that are missing that I have down that I needed to find. So anyway, I had this laid out, and I was stickering it up, and I had it laid out to write down on some of my pages. So one was this January. I really like, in my quiet time that I'm spending, to try to treat myself with tea or coffee and a lit candle, and of course some kind of snack. So in fashion, I was sitting here with a candle lit, and it was in front of me, and I was drinking my tea, and I was flipping up and flipping my pages up this way. Yeah, do you see what happened? I burned all my pages all the way through because they were flipped over on the candle, and it burned all the way through to the back page. So I had to cut them off. I don't know if you can see, I had to cut it off, and then I had to stitch on new pages. That's my book of days musing. So I am using it. I'm using it, and I'm using it more than just for stitching. I'm using it for all my other craft things, or I'm not using it for appointments because I have my other one. But anyway, I just, even little snippets or thoughts like I'm using my other journal for, I'm writing down things like, you know, find the, I have a needlepoint truck that I bought for Reed to stitch for his birthday in end of May, and I couldn't find it. So every month I've carried over find Reed's truck. And then, you know, what everyone else is doing, you know, what I started, what I finished, plans, things like that. So it's fun, isn't it? Yeah, I was just looking at some of the things I wrote down, but I don't need to do that while you're sitting here with me. So, okay, so I guess to go on, let me see what's on my list, because, oh, I forgot to grab it. Since I was talking about needlework press, I was wondering if I should do like a whip parade. I have like 45 whips, but I thought I'm trying to make sense of what I'm doing, because it's not really, I'm not calling it a floss tube, because I feel like I'm really not a floss tube. I just feel like I'm not in that category, and if people are looking for a floss tube and I list as a floss tube, they're going to be disappointed. So I don't call it a floss tube. But I had next month already, Jim and I are going to Arizona, and I'm really, really, really hoping that somewhere in the ether I can meet Vicki from Needlework Press. My very favorite Instagram of ever. I have to see what she does every day. And their charts, just beyond that I would always have to look at. So in doing that, I guess part of my haul would be that I purchased Mary Hill. And I'm going to talk about it, but I don't have it here to show you because I forgot to grab it. So I thought I'm going to start Mary Hill, and then I'm going to bring that to work on in Arizona. And if I do get to meet Vicki, then I'm going to ask her to sign my book. So just to let you know, I started Mary Hill. It's a really cool sampler if you go look it up. Oh, okay. You know what we're going to do before we talk about what I'm working on? I want to show you what I did. I'm going to move you just a little bit. I finished that pocket muse that I was working on. I call it a prayer pocket muse. So let me find something that I can put it on that won't. Well, all I have is the sturdy orange mat. So let me just bring you down. Should I come closer? Okay, I can't really see what I'm doing to show you guys, but this is how it turned out. I did post some pictures of it. I open it all the time, so it's getting kind of wonky. But I knew that I had to use my silk ribbon from the Thread Gather. Oh, this happened last time. All I'm doing is tying it in a bow, but it gets, sorry. Oh, there it is. It came undone. Okay. It gets wrapped around that little. So I got this from Roxy's Creations. I will put a link to everything. I've kind of figured out that that's really easy to do. And it's Rachel, with Rachel. So let me lay this down for you. It will end up to be, well, should I just show you the back? All I did was kind of do a loop with an old button there. I don't know whose initials those are, but I just have been looking for some place to use that button. Okay, so if you roll it out, there's my K. This, I should have sewn down farther, then this would have folded better, but look how much stitching I did on that. I wasn't going to rip it out for that. Okay, so that, I've got my moon. The very first date Jim and I went on, he said to me, do you know how the moon was formed? And I thought, this guy is so quirky and cool. I think I'm gonna fall in love with him. So there's my moon for Jim. This is just a little piece of a old hanky. And then that's kind of quote that we've seen everywhere. Let me read it. I myself am entirely made of flaws stitched together with good intentions. I read that out of my little journal from last week. And then I made that into a pocket. And I've had this charm forever that actually went on a necklace. And it's that girl with a little crown. And then the back of it says, I'd like a grande half calf skinny hazelnut double latte. And who wouldn't? So again, just use some of my silk fibers from the thread gatherer. And that's also what I use to stitch this on. This, if you saw me talk about that, I made copies of that. Yeah, I was going to do my journal cover, if you saw me talk about last week. And I bought, let me talk to you for a minute. I bought the wrong paper. It was like a canvas paper instead of just the printable. And it was like canvas weight. And it's pretty cool, but that's what that is and what it ended up looking like. And it was harder to stitch through. So I ended up not doing my journal cover yet because I was using that picture of, it was going to be like a 5x7 that I was going to stitch through, and I'm not going to do that. So anyway, okay, rather than move you back down, I'll just show you. This was, I don't know if I was going to make a yo-yo out of that, but it was I had it two-sided, and I thought, oh, I'll just put it on there. And so then as you flip it open, that was an old broken cross that I've had in my charm pack. And I love that color, so I thought I'll put that on. This was from an old quilt that I was piecing together. Can't do anything without yo-yos, so I stuck those underneath there. And then there's the whole cross. So mine is a prayer pocket muse. The one that I'm going to make for rocks is going to have a scripture here. Of course, they're not all done exactly the same, but, and then that's how it looks from the back. So thank you for letting me show you that. That was fun to work on. You know how you see people looking at or working on things like that and you think, oh, that looks fun. So I did that and it was fun. Okay, so that's my pocket muse. That's a finish. I think I had to do something small just so I could say that I finished something, because all my other cross stitch things I pick are big. But that's going to lead me to what I want to work on, because it is very, very doable. So Sarah from Penelope's Pocket, and if you know how they say if you don't watch her, you should. So that's all I can say. And hi to both of my Sarahs over in England. Both of ya. Okay, so I've got a couple things to show you. Let me see if I can keep it in line. Let me see if I can. All right, so Sarah talked about, oh, I was gonna show you a picture of something. Let me see if I can bring it up on my my iPad. It's I purchased the font that I'm using. I purchased off of Etsy. Okay, so Sarah talked about doing, I think she's calling a hexie quilt stitch along kind of thing, and it's RosClarkeCrafts, R-O-S Clark with an E on the end, and then crafts. And she's doing this stitch along on her YouTube, and I mean, it's not a totally new concept. It's been out there for people who are into hexies and English paper piecing. Then you already know about it. I've had something in my head that I wanted to do for a long time on that realm, and I just haven't gotten to it. So when Sarah brought it up and mentioned Roz, I thought, I'm going to go see what she's doing. And I might not do it exactly the same, but I'm going to follow along. So I'm going to start. So I don't know if Sarah is actually stitching it. It kind of sounded like she would. I hope you are, Sarah. So anyway, what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to look and see what font I used, because I should really do that. And if you know what, I'm not going to take the time to do that. When I find it, I'll put a link to it. I'll just kind of show you what it looks like. So anyway, the whole concept is to do, Roz came up with, I'm doing this project and putting it in, oh, I don't remember what this bag is called. Is it Isabel? Sarah does these bags and she sells them, and as soon as she posts them, they are gone. So if you ever want one, you have to really watch. My favorite thing is I love polka dots, I love stripes, and I love how Sarah is using this polka dot, this really warm chocolate brown polka dot, kind of as her signature on her bags. So I wanted the owl last year when she showed it, and she came up with more. Do you see the inside of that? And her tassels, truly, it's like, because we're creative, it's just texture that you just want to feel and feel and feel. Anyway, she does the project bags. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm going to grab it. Let me see where it is. These are all my project bags back there. So I can't remember which one I put in here. So this was the one that I was waiting for. And she puts those beautiful tassels on it with, this one did have the outlining again. Oh, you know what's in here? Mary Hill. Do you want to back up a minute? Wait, let's back up a minute. I put Mary Hill in here. I ordered more bags from Sarah. So I'm not going to apologize. I'm just going to hope that you guys can follow along with as I jump around, because as a thought pops in my head, if I don't say it, I'll forget. And I don't know why, but when a thought pops into my head, it's ever so important that I have to say it now. So anyway, and I already forgot what it was. Anyway, okay, I got Mary Hill. Here it is. Needlework press. Isn't that cool? Now, when I looked at it, I thought, I love the colors. I'm going to follow that, but I wanted to brighten them up a little bit. So, oh, yes, of course, the thread keep. And I did have all my flosses hanging on the cute things, and I totally went and put them in bags. You know why? It's not as pretty, but it's easier for me. It works better for my brain. Anyway, I'm going to kind of show you this. So instead of like that yellow, which I like, I'm going with kind of more of a topaz-y, because that's my birthstone, and that's kind of my color. So anyway, Mary Hill. Okay, Mary Hill. Do you want me to tell you my issue with Mary Hill that I did? This is a good segue into the project that I'm going to do with Sarah and Roz, because I started Mary Hill on 32 count vellum, and I stitching on these different counts. Isn't that pretty though? Can you see? I went into the stitch calculator, and I figured out with 32 count how big this should be, because I have a huge piece of this, because I'm using it for quite a few other things, because I still use my light and magnifier with it, but if I have my really strong trifocal lined glasses that I put on, I can see the 32 count going over to with just those glasses on if I have good lighting. So I am starting to stitch a lot with this 32 count. Lugana vellum. Okay, do you guys see what I'm looking at? That, I don't think this piece of fabric's gonna be big enough. I like to start in the middle. I'm afraid, even though I went by the directions, this might be too small. If it is, then those pretty flowers that are in there will end up being something else. And I guess I'll have to start it over. I don't know how, I never thought I'd be one. I don't like to stitch something twice. As a matter of fact, if I see a sampler that I love, if it's symmetrical and has the same motifs on both sides all the way, even if I love it, I don't care how much I love it, I'll look at it and go, there's no way I'm going to stitch that. I'll stitch one and then I won't want to do the other side. That's it. Sorry. Okay. Ta-da! And this is how I'm keeping track of all my projects. I'm just putting, it felt like something was burning again. I have a candle here and I had stuff laying on the candle. Okay, look what I did. I put on the tag, Needlework Press, Mary Hill, and then on the other side I put 32 count Lugana, 2/2 with DMC, and then I put the day I start. And then when I finish, I'll be able to write the finish date. And what I plan to do is take these off. So like for 2026, have a ring for 2026. And whenever I get a project done, put the tag on that ring, and I'll actually have a ring of tags for every project I did in that year. That's my plan. Okay, Mary Hill, good job that I found that. Okay, let's move on. I've got to put these back in there, otherwise they'll get lost. So, okay, Mary Hill. That was a special one I put in there. So I started to say I ordered more bags from Sarah in her last batch, and with Tudor Rose Quilt Guild, they are doing Fanny John's sampler with the Wishing Thorn. It's going to be an exclusive through her. Will be doing the Zoom meeting in April, and that's going to be a really, really long-term special sampler that I want to work on. So I'm going to put it in one of Sarah's bags. So, okay, so to get back to this one, I thought this bag would be a good project to put the quilt as you go, stitch as you go, whatever Roz or Sarah's calling it. Again, even though I might not do it exactly. Oh, see, my Apple Watch just told me I did it. I've earned another hour toward my stand goal. I'm not standing, I'm sitting. I might have to disable everything on this watch because it's going to drive me crazy. Okay, so how do I tell you this without not having what I wanted to show you? Okay, so Roz is going to do a quilt as you go. These are the inside batting that you're going to use. Once I get this started more, I think April, let me tell you what I'm going to do in April. So maybe in May, I'll be farther along and be able to show you what I'm doing, or you can follow Roz and see how she's going to do it. I have a feeling just that I might do it a little bit differently than her, because I'm going to do mine all hand stitched. I didn't see where she had done one yet where she shows how to put it together. She's going to. I think she might have used the machine to stitch down the edges, but I'm not sure. So anyway, this is a 2.5 inch hexie, just the batting. Roz showed a place she got hers, which I think was in the UK, and I went on Amazon and I found them. These are actually pre-cut for a quilt that's done through Missouri Star Quilt Company, but that's what it looked like. I bought a package. I think I counted 42 of these in here. So I got those, and then once it's laid out, I know I feel like I'm not doing a good job explaining this, because if you don't know what I'm talking about, then it's going to be hard to envision for you to see. So I'm just going to show you this. I have this sitting here. This is a 1-inch hexie quilt that I've been working on. So let me just show you. So this is on a smaller scale, but the hexies will be going this way with the point up. When you finish a quilt and you want to do an edge, if you don't have, you either have to cut this off, you know, let's just say we're trying to make a straight edge for the binding, or you can actually buy the half hexies that you stitch in, and it will give you a straight edge. So I'm actually gonna plan on making maybe like a small quilt that I can put on the back of my chair. So these are the 1/2 inch, or not the 1/2 inch, the 2.5 inch half hexie. So, and they're all pre-cut, which is the way to do it if you're gonna do it. That's the whole. Here's the half. And that looks like this. So what I was going to show you, have no fear if this is confusing, because in a couple more months when I do it and I'm farther along, I'll explain to you more how I'm doing it, or again, Roz or Sarah will be talking about it. Okay, I was cleaning things out, and I have this cork kind of wallet. Remember when cork purses and like mats and stuff came out? Oh, I don't know how many years ago now, and it was such a cool thing. Well, I bought this with a cork purse. I gave the cork purse to my mom, but I still had this, and I was going to bring it to Goodwill, and I thought, why would you do that? So I want to show you. This is so perfect. I'm going to actually bring you down. So as I'm working on these, it'll be such a great, like, take as you go, or grab it if I want to stitch this at work one day. I'm looking for the fabrics. Okay. Where I can, in one zip, keep the little pieces that I have ready to go, like this. The next one, I actually had cut some of that 32 count Lugana vellum in these little strips, because Roz is doing, like she's saying, don't buy anything, just use, you know, scraps of what you have. So this has got to be big enough to fit the hexie, so you have to cut this at least 5 inches, and I think I actually cut mine 5 and then 6. It was kind of odd. So let me finish this up. In here, I found this teeny tiny hoop that I'm going to show you. I have my needles. My friend Cece from the Thread Gather made that for me. I have my little scissors from Sarah PenelopesPocketht. And when I'm doing, not cross stitching, but when I'm doing piecing on my hexies, you can see I have a bump, and I have like permanent damage on my finger from the needle. Pretty nice callus, but I do wear that. This you can get a whole bag of them on Amazon, and it's adjustable. I have trouble finding thimbles that fit my finger because my fingers are so big. Okay, so in one pouch is all that. And then look, all my floss fits in here. Okay, so let's go back up. Roz is doing, I think she said as long as the stitch along is going with her, She's doing alphabet motifs, and she's doing it free. And you can log onto her Facebook page or her, go watch her YouTube and she'll tell you. So I started this. She did A, apple, and there's a big A here. So I started and I picked the colors that I wanted to do, and I picked them off of, my inspiration was not only the bag, because it will all match. I went through, I've been cleaning out and sorting out all my sewing things downstairs, and look at this nice stack of brown fabrics that I have. I love brown and red together, and I really love green with it as well. So what I'm going to do, all my backs are going to be different. I'm going to end up cutting these down. I'm probably going to cut down to like a 6-inch square just to be safe. What I need to do is make a template that will be bigger than this, that I will use to cut these out, so that when the time comes to do the backing to the front, the idea is, I'm just going to try to show you real quick. Let's see if this has a straight edge. The idea is then that the backing will be cut the same shape as this, but it will be wider, so that you can fold that and then fold that over, and you will have a finished edge. So I will end up making a template that's going to be, you know, a couple inches wider than my back piece. Let's see how wide that is, because that's probably just about perfect. About 2.5 inches wider all the way around. So I don't want to take away from what Roz is doing. So please, if you're going to do this, please follow her, and then just follow along with me as you can see what I'm doing with her and Sarah. Okay, so that's that. Then what I did, I'm going to keep this down so you can see the floss. So I started that, and I thought, you know, I'm excited about doing this because I think she's doing a letter a week, and that's so doable. But when I got this done, as cute as it is, it's not my aesthetic for what I want to make to put on the back of my chair. You know, the motifs. I want to do just, I really like scripty font. So I found this font, and I will link it underneath. But I found this font on Etsy. I think it was $4, $5. But I loved the scripty part, but I loved that it used a couple different colors to highlight it. So I got the A done. So the A will be on here. My main color is going to be the brown. And then I'm going to switch it up. I don't think it's going to be that noticeable, but this is the red that I used is 847 DMC, and the green is 937 that I already used here. The brown is 839. Is this working? Is 839. I love those colors together. But then I thought to brighten it up a little bit, because I also love the more chartreusey green. That's the 471. And then this is the DMC. I don't know what this is. Oh, do I know? Yeah, it's the 4130. So you can see I took all my flosses off of these and put them in bags. This is the one that's variegated. It's kind of red, pinks, and orange tone. So some of the letters are going to be this color. Some are going to be the darker. And I'm hoping it will give it a little bit more movement and interest in the quilt when I get it done. And I'm just going to play it by ear. I'm going to go through the whole alphabet with Roz and see what it looks like when we get to that point. And then if I want to actually make it bigger, then I'll make it bigger and keep adding to it. So that's what I'm gonna do. What do you think? Are you guys interested in doing that? So I was gonna show you, I cut these down, and I do like to just use a little hoop. I have all kinds of size hoops, but look at that little teeny hoop I found at Michael's yesterday. It's only 3 inches, but look how perfect that was. I told you guys I'm 65 last week. I think I'm getting arthritis. I'm starting to feel it in a lot of joints and in my bones, and I'm not happy about it. I don't like it. Anyway, to hold a bigger hoop is really hurting my wrist, my hand. I do have the Lowry stand. I have all kinds of tabletop things. So it isn't that I don't have the equipment. I just really, and I don't stitch in hand. I can't, even though I'm a stitcher, I can't figure it out. But oh my gosh, look how perfect that is. I mean, that would be just a cute little ornament, right? Anyway, so this is going to be my little travel pack that if I'm going to work and I want to work on it that day, or if I'm, going to my sister's or to the lake and I'm going to sit on the pontoon for the day, I'm just going to keep all of that in here. I'll keep a couple extra pieces of the linen, these pieces, and the fabrics I am going to keep in my bag. So that gets me to one more thing that I was going to talk about. Then I will move this out of the way. So this idea came from Jennifer Clouston. I bought this book at Goodwill, and she has an old book like this that she keeps all her daily snippets in. Whenever she'll stitch something, then she just, until she knows what she's doing with it, she has a whole book that she has, and once in a while she'll get it out and she, flips through it. And I thought, what a cool idea to keep all these hexies in here until I see either how I'm gonna, they're gonna be laid out in alphabetical order, but if I want to make it bigger and add some other fabric pieces in there, I'm just gonna keep all the hexies once I get them put together in this book. So I got this book. I do want to probably decorate the top maybe with a hexie or something and do something to cover up the title here, but the colors were perfect for what I'm doing, and then as I get them done I'll do that. But I got to tell you, I have talked before about Richard, who I work with. Richard's the one that always needs to see the back of my work and thinks he, anyway. So one day we were at work and I had come back. All of us opticians like to thrift and go to Goodwill and that stuff. So Richard always comes back with these treasures and is showing off what he got. So anyway, I came back with this book. I was telling him how I'm going to make it into this kind of stitching journal thing. So anyway, I know I was doing this at work. It was a slow day. One of our doctors was sick and the other doctor was done. It was a slow day. It was the last hour of the night. And sometimes you got to just let loose, right? So anyway, I started ripping out the old pages out of this book, and I decided that I wanted to leave, some in the front and the back. So anyway, as I was doing that, Hannah that I work with had some books that she ordered that she had delivered to work. We're really trying to get back into reading, as I told you. Oh, did I have any books to talk about this time? No, I've talked about too many other things. So anyway, Hannah got some books and she was so excited, and she said, oh, I'm going to make myself a bookmark. and so she started like putting stickers and stuff that we had just on a piece of paper. And I said, okay, I'm going to make you a bookmark too. And so I took some of the old papers that were out of here, and I made, now this one has my name on it, but I made her a bookmark. And I just cut up a box that, you know, it's pretty hard, the glasses come in. And then all I had was a glue stick, and I just tore the paper. And I folded it over the cardboard. I ran off this, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy books. And that's kind of the same thing. And then I just made a little. So I usually make everybody, there's 13 of us. I usually make everybody their Christmas gift that we do stockings at the end of the year. And I usually make somebody something like, you know, everybody something like this. So I was showing one of the other girls, I said, do you like this? Is this what you guys want me to make you for Christmas? And they said, well, why are you going to wait till Christmas? So I said, fine, I've got everything out. I'm just going to make, so before I left work that last hour, I made everybody, including my boss, my manager, a bookmark. So I just wanted to show you what I did with the pages that came out of this, because it was pretty fun. So anyway, I made that bookmark. Okay, and everybody at work got one. Let's take a little sip and a little. Are you guys stitching? I hope that you are. I hope you're not just sitting there mindlessly listening to chatter. I really hope that it's just background for your stitching. Okay, I have a whole list of things, and that's it. I think we're done. I've talked about everything I was going to talk about, except for, you know, I have to end with Shirley's Cottage. So I have to grab it. So we're done with the stitching and chatting portion of today's gathering. So let's go on to Shirley's Cottage and finish with that. I want to put, I'm looking for the perfect cover to a newspaper, and I think I found one. I'd like to find a date that maybe has my mom's birthday or something on it, that has Cambridge News, and the Cambridge newspaper, their thing is yellow and blue umbrellas, and that's on the cover of the newspaper. I don't have one to show you. Anyway, I did start, I found so far that I've gone through Marches. So let me see. I was going to try, I read them when I go through them with you. This one's March 2nd. This one, I'm going to cheat a little bit today. The one that's closer to today's date, I hope I'm going to be able to read this, okay? I don't know why I'm mumbling. Okay, this one, those Olympics. I mean, the Olympics are over, and we did really well, and it was so exciting. But I think today I'm going to read this one, Never Too Old to Be Amazed, okay? And this one was dated March 2nd, 2006. So I probably will explain this each time. From Shirley's Cottage is a column that my mom wrote, Shirley, for the Cambridge hometown newspaper. And I think there's a playlist of Shirley's Cottage, and my mom and I talked about it. I think it was 17 years that she wrote for the newspaper. So there's a big tub of newspapers I have to go through. So, oh, here we are at that time again, where I need my chapstick if I'm going to read this to you. Hold on. Are you guys like that at all? Keep keep looking at Shirley's cottage. Right there. Okay, I got it. Okay. Put my lips on, wet my whistle, and we'll get going. So my mom's articles were kind of musings as well of what's going on, the town, family, whatever. And then she always ends it with a recipe. I'm going to hold this up if you want to do a screenshot. Oh man, they all always sound so good. She has directions down there too, but it's on the fold line, so let me fix that for you. On the end of each one, my mom said enjoy. So I've got to remember to end that way for you. Okay. Are you ready? Chocolate bread pudding. No kidding. Did you get a screenshot? Okay, perfect. Chocolate bread pudding. Here we go. Me, you, my mom, Shirley. Never too old to be amazed. Today I went to a conservatory, the Bulls Conservatory at the Olbrich Botanical Gardens, to be exact, east on Monona Drive until it turns into Atwood. That's in Madison, Wisconsin. An acquaintance of my volunteers there and is quite a vocal supporter. It only costs $1 to go there, free on Tuesdays until noon. Even in the winter, it is a beautiful place. Oh, 2006, I'm sure it's not free or $1 anymore. I'm not too much on sightseeing, but my daughter and family are here from Idaho. Oh, that would be me. I thought this would be a nice way to spend some time with them. It was a good day. It is only winter outside, but when we got in, well, I was amazed. How could I get this many years under my belt and never see a conservatory? I thought a conservatory was for music or the arts. I looked up the word when I got home. The third definition is a greenhouse in which plants are arranged in a pleasing manner. Wow, what an understatement. This greenhouse is a huge 2-story all-glass structure attached to the main building, and plants arranged in a pleasing manner. A true definition if you call a whole rainforest plants. The trees are huge with vines and gnarls growing every which way. Every type, shape, and size of green leaves you can imagine grow in and around the trees and bushes. Orchids and brilliant flowers I had never seen before, just sitting there beside the running water, flowing over the rocks. They just sat there looking like it was the most normal thing in the world to be so beautiful and smell so good. They even have a Venus, wasn't it beautiful? They even have a Venus flytrap. It's just a tiny little wisp of a plant, opposite of a great big plant that looks just like its nickname, Devil's Tongue, purple and black and mean looking. Water skims down the rock. I always thought those were called mother-in-law tongues, but I guess it's the same thing. Water skims down the rock waterfall into a pond that goldfish call home. These are not like our little goldfish that we flushed when they died. These are bright orange and white and bigger and fatter than any walleye or northern pike I've ever seen. That would be koi fish she's talking about. If you ever been to a conservatory before, you might be saying, where has she been that she has never seen a sight like this before? Well, I guess I have been looking at the lake, and it really is enough for me. Beauty, comfort, and enjoyment. That doesn't stop me from wanting to go back to the greenhouse, in which plants are arranged in a pleasing manner, and to see what I missed the first time. It is an amazing place right in our own backyard. I highly recommend a visit. With all the overabundance of beauty my eyes have seen today, I thought I should have a little recipe for the taste buds. Like with sugar and cream and nuts and chocolate. She had that capitalized. It didn't take long to find it. I tuned in on the Food Channel, and Paula Deen was Southern cooking some of her comfort food. I made note Oh, I'm sorry. I have not made this yet, but we'll try and get in while the whole family is here. No matter how it turns out, how can it go wrong? It got 4 stars in 10 minutes prep time. And that is the chocolate bread pudding that I already gave you. So we'll do it once again from Shirley's Cottage. And you know what she says? Enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy your day. Have a beautiful weekend, a week, wherever you're ending up watching this. Thank you so much for coming back. You know, I would love it for you guys to talk to me and comment. You try not to get too attached to it, but when you don't see that people are, you know, you kind of feel like you're out there all alone. If you don't see anybody respond, and then you think, am I just an idiot talking to myself? I hope not. I really hope not. I hope you guys are out there, and I hope that we can all just have a little bit of time to relax and stitch together. As soon as I get done here, I'm going to go work. I think I'm going to start on, you know what I'm actually going to do? I think I'm going to start on the bee for that hexie thing. And I really think I need to sit down and figure out if I cut that fabric, that linen for Mary Hill too small, because I really want to keep working on that. So anyway, let me know what you guys are working on. I don't care what it is. Let me know. I'm meeting my group next Saturday, and it's always fun to see what they're working on. So I am sure that they would tell you guys hi, and you know what? I'm going to tell them that you said hi. So there. Have a good weekend, okay? Bye-bye.